we try to focus to tell journalism as it should be. Because when you listen to most of the media, in the Nigerian media space, a lot of words are pandered around, but their meanings are distorted. For example, like this perception that gender is feminism.
Okay.
It's not feminism. Gender is about man, woman, and their attributes.
Okay.
But when you talk about sex, you now say a male and a female. Do you get me? So there are two distinct things. Sex, gender, they're two separate things. Let us not match them together. Gender is a social construct at the end of the day.
Okay. Who are those in the forefront of this drive to let us know what gender is all about?
The Walishinka Center for Investigative Journalism, of which I was selected amongst, from 9 countries, I was among the top 20 who was selected. And
congratulations.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yes.
So we were selected to do a fantastic job with regards to journalism. And what is that job? 1, begin to recreate the media space for women in terms of media entrepreneurship, in terms of advancement in the media space, in terms of creating compliance system and policies that addresses issues that affect both men and women. For example, a career mother, you have to create room for her to be able to manage a career as well as motherhood. Because inevitably, she will need a place to put her baby. So offices that don't have things like crèche, you're doing a lot of disservice to a woman because you need a perspective of a woman's contribution in any given society.
Okay.
The same thing, you extend it into politics itself. You see, part of the reason why Nigeria's politics is a bit skewed is because you don't have contribution from other perspectives. I want to say other perspective, other humans like you. So when you have a situation where a particular sex dominates a field, you don't have different perspectives. You don't have diversity of contribution.
Yes.
And that can be limiting. It cannot provide solutions. So in a situation where in the House of Assembly, in the National Assembly, state assemblies, and in general politics, when we talk about participation, you see a situation where it is skewed on purpose so that the other person of the other sex cannot compete favorably, may not be too good. Although I won't use that as a yardstick in totality.
Okay, who is queuing?
We have a suffocating patriarchy system in Nigeria.
Yes.
And it cuts across not just even Nigeria. Patriarchy is a problem, especially what I call toxic patriarchy.
Okay.
Now, when you remember Queen Amina, that was a formidable woman.
Yes.
A woman who did the extraordinary. People felt she was unstereotyped. She was not stereotypical.
Yes.
But that's a lie. You are a human being with gifts, with capacities, with talents, with abilities and competencies, and you can develop them. We are brought into this world because each of us can make contribution.
Yes.
So the question is, what is the contribution you can make? Stop making it look like this is a woman contribution, this is a man contribution. Not at all. Take for example a case. Recently, a man I know lost his wife through childbirth.
Okay.
Now he has to take care of 3 children. He will need the skill sets of care, managing home.
Yes.
So that at the end of the day, it's not a case of this one a man work, this one a woman work. Now housework. We need to begin to also train our girls and boys to realize that now housework.
Yes.
And the house chores.
It's fine.
And this is where media comes into play. Our job is such a significant one. We are not here as media people to either paint government as good, or be the mouthpiece of government, or be the spin doctors for government. That's not our job. Our job is to see how we can create solutions to social problems in our society. Like when I was invited recently at the Young African Leadership Initiative that Obama did put together some time back while he was in office, I was asked to come and talk about civic intelligence and the role of how we can use civic intelligence to solve our problems. When we create a situation where you raised a woman to think that the only thing she can ever do in her life is to be a wife and a mother, you have limited her. A woman has so much. Just like a man has so much capacity, he's a father too. But we've seen cases where there have been absentee fathers who pursue their careers. That's as bad as an absentee mom. So let's not keep doing that again. And like I was trying to really emphasize, what is the media's job? Do you know, during one of our projects, we actually analyzed the newspapers in Nigeria. Okay. And we find that the way the newspapers report stories is often imbalanced. How do we mean? Say I picked a newspaper that had over 40 pages.
Okay.
I counted the stories that were male-related stories, and I counted the one that were female-related stories, and I counted the one that were children-related stories. Do you know that in that particular newspaper alone, there were 116 stories for men alone, and there were just 12 for women, and 3 for children. That is an imbalanced reporting done by that media organization. So we need to change all of that. And then what about investigative stories? How do we carry out investigative stories? Like I did one recently that became such a huge success on the media space in Nigeria. I mean, NAN took it up. The News Agency of Nigeria took it up, and every other news organization I knew of took it up, and they spread it. What did I do? I investigated a situation where we have secret call gangs in Delta secondary schools, where is a strategic drive to address more female secondary students, where a female secondary student has to part with as much as 4,000, 5,000 naira as the case may be, just to register to be a part of a cult group. And then these students are made to pay weekly and monthly dues from 200 to 400 naira. Now, in uncovering that investigation, I also discovered that there is a particular place in Delta State where it was their hideout, the St. Patrick's Church. Yes, it was their hideout. They were actually scaling the fence and navigating through some of the broken walls to get through to the bush area, and they were doing all of this. Now, when the story broke, the good thing was that many persons saw it in Pointer newspaper. Some people also heard me when I was on Bridge Radio when I talked about it, and they interviewed me on it. And some now saw the fallout of the highlighted, amplified story in other news magazines online. And they called me, one of the council members called me to say, Lady E, we've started working on the raising defense by 2 coaches and also taking care of some of those openings and maybe work on the bush. For me, that is how impactful a story should be, and that's our job. And so as media people, the next thing we should be doing now is change the narrative way we tell stories. We need to take all sides. You cannot tell me there are no women who cannot come and talk. For example, now this is the political cycle we're in. What is happening? How many women are we specifically, strongly targeting, intentionally, deliberately, and say, we must bring women to come talk here? Do we go look for them? We need to go look for them so that we can balance the story. And you don't also take just one particular set of parties. No, you take all parties and they must be represented. So our job in media is one, tell the truth, go dig it out, present all the perspectives, all the actors that are involved, and not make it narrow. But my job also in having this opportunity and using this platform is to also spread the word to citizens. Many of the citizens are also informed because of how we inform them. We want to empower citizens. That's what my civic intelligence is about. We want to empower citizens to also say, hey, media house, what you're doing isn't fair. You can write. You can actually come to the station and say, look, we have not heard from this side and this side. We also have women councillors or women contestants at this level. Please, you don't have to have any agenda. Just bring them out and say, look, let's hear from them as well. Because some people feel like we're talking about what stops women from being involved, what causes the marginalization. Yes. And one of the things is people feel money is everything. Somebody who has money has confidence to walk in. But that's not how the media space should be.
Don't you think it's a general situation in the country, economically, where people are impoverished, pushed to the wall, that 500 naira means a whole lot to them? And the issue of vote buying is just a walk in the park.
You see, I have said something over and again.
Yes.
If you're hungry enough for something, stomach will not stop you from acting. I have been hungry before in my life. And when I say hungry, I mean starved in my life. And I mean it in a very serious way. I have been starved before. But in being starved, I did not allow my values to drop. And that is where civic intelligence comes in.
Just one
No, really. No, it's about you deciding it. We have decided that poverty is our problem. The moment your mindset tells you that unless food dey my belle before I fit think, then you will not think. Food don't have to be, in fact, the fact that you're hungry enough should make you think strategically and ask, where will my next food come from? What thing do I need to do to get the money to get me to where I need to get to? What partnership do I need to develop? What skill sets do I need to now start learning? Many of us are unwilling to even do apprenticeship even at 40 years old. I do a lot of apprenticeship because I don't know it all. And there are skills I like to develop and I go and learn them. Don't wait until it hits you. That's part of pre-planning. Like I will tell women, don't ever think that you cannot enter into politics and succeed. You can succeed. How can you do that? One, plan ahead. What do I mean plan ahead? Begin to create a strategic plan to say, this is why I want to go into politics. Then you ask yourself, do you have the competency? Do you have the competence to do that?
Capacity.
The capacity to do that. What is your track record? Oh, absolutely. Courage is a given. In fact, I say courage is a given. I don't say try and get courage. I'm telling you, you already have courage. Go ahead and do it. Then you look at, okay, what kind of partnership can I form? What is my network? Where is my influence? Who can I partner with? Then you begin to also save towards it. Some people will say, oh, Lady E, this is idealistic. It's not idealistic. It is not. I have seen it happen and it can be done.
We'll get back to Lady E on this very interesting subject matter, humanity, womanhood. How do we make ourselves really relevant in all spheres of life?